goal isn't to live forever. The goal is to create something that will.
Welcome to Perspective, a podcast for wedding creators, where we sit down, often with a special guest, and talk about our many years of experience in the wedding industry so you can learn from us and grow your wedding business. Hello, I'm Simon.
And I'm Greg.
Together, we are Cinemate Films, two Scottish-based wedding filmmakers who love nothing more than drinking coffee and talking shop with others in the wedding industry, and we have teamed up with The Weird Retreat to bring you a series of special episodes in the lead-up to the gathering on the 23rd to the 26th of March, 2026, in the Peak District. This podcast is, of course, sponsored by With Jack and Pick Time. But Greg, what are we drinking? It's like, who are we talking to today?
We are talking to the delightful Igor Demba. Hello.
Hello,
Hey,
team.
Igor.
How are you guys?
Very good, thank you. How are you?
Doing good.
Loving the energy already.
You know, I have to say, I never practiced the intros, but I feel like I'm so proud of myself every time I do it properly without any mistakes.
It's
So
that
that's
self-assurance of, yes, I nailed that.
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, I was obviously just joking around because I used to start off the podcast by asking Greg what we were drinking because we always used to drink coffee in the office. And I think that was around the time that we last
coffee.
had you. You've got a coffee, okay. But no one wants to hear that because, but our longtime listeners will remember that line and remember that Igor has been on this podcast before.
Yes,
so hello
I have.
again.
Thank you for having me again.
Thank you for coming back. I'm surprised you're back. I mean, why would you want to put yourself through this again?
You boys are delightful, so it's an easy yes.
How have you been? How's your beginning of the year so far?
Beginning of the year has been good, has been quite slow, quite steady, different in terms of how I'm marketing myself, in terms of weddings and couples and just communication in general as well. It's very, very different to how it looked even last year. So yeah, but good. Yeah, very good.
Let's stick on that because I do remember. I think I remember correctly looking at a different website this time around for the show and tell section, which we didn't do when you were last on, so that'd be fun. What made you change your website, or is this just a general upkeep of things, or have you pivoted your styles? Like, tell us all about your mindset and all that kind of stuff.
I think it's still very much changing. It's still, I think I went through a phase where my website wasn't necessarily reflecting my work or the way I wanted to present my work. I think that's better said, really. But at the same time, being the perfectionist in me, I'll probably stay with this sort of like draft of whatever it is right now for, I don't know, 3 years, 4 years, and kind of like drafting and going back and forth and everything else. And it just got to the point that you just need to press publish and just get on with it, really. So yeah, still things, it's nowhere finished. There's so much more to kind of like add to it, a lot of weddings and stories. Because at the moment, I think it's very much focus on sort of like highlight images. And when I really want to delve into the stories of the weddings that have been happening over the past months and years, really, and that have not been showcased for the beauty that what they are, if that makes sense, really. And I find that even in our industry, really, that art has been kind of lost a little bit in terms of like being able to see a wedding from beginning to end and really immerse yourself in it and really get on how it felt to be at that wedding, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's the big sort of like mission at the moment for the next few months, really.
And is this move just because your website's like brand new? Did you get rid of your old content from your previous site?
Some of it, yes, but not a lot of it. No, some of it, yes, but it's still very much me. You'll be able to see it from a mile away. Oh yeah, that's Igor, sort of thing. So it's still, the identity is still very much there, but at the same time, I think that there are certain things that I look at my work and I kind of feel like, yeah, there's need to be, and even now I can see it. Like, it's just the changes that need to happen. I want to see more moments rather than perhaps couples looking cool in a landscape or whatever it might be, or less details, if that makes sense. More guests, things like that. Really, I think needs to be represented a lot more. So yeah. Yeah.
Did you say less details?
Yes, in some ways, to the point that I have presented them. Yes, in some ways.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's interesting. I feel like recently there's been like a lean towards details.
Yes, there is.
You know.
100%. 100%. There is. But what I mean in the sense is that it's very easy to just sort of allow your work to be supported by that rather than I think what I'm trying to say is let the moments be highlighted, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rather than just being supported by cool couples, cool vibes, cool landscapes, cool locations, cool
Yeah.
details, cool, rather than allowing the the moments really to speak for themselves, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I
In
totally
terms
get that.
of like getting your images out there in front of people, you mentioned you were trying new things at the start of the year so far. What
hmm
what have you been trying? Like, what's different? How are you marketing for this year?
I find that ads have been massive for me over the past few months,
Mhm.
especially Instagram ads. It's been a massive learning curve. And the results have been great, like really, really good. At the same time, it is a learning curve. So I find it that clients have changed, the way clients shop have changed a lot as well.
Mhm.
So so yeah, that's been a massive one really. And at the same time, I find that clients tend to be either they're being really, really, at least the ones that I found, either they're being like really, really intentional in terms of what they want, or they're just literally shopping around for everything at the same time. It's hard to find sort of like in between, if that makes sense. So yeah, and same goes in some ways with the type of weddings. Usually, you would have sort of like middle weddings where you would have a good amount of number, let's say 120 or something like that, and the vibe is quite cool, but at the same time very chilled. Whereas what I'm finding is either very intimate weddings in terms of the inquiries, very intimate weddings, or let's go for it. This is going to be massive sort of thing. So yeah, yeah, the industry is changing a lot, and I'm sure that you guys have heard so many conversations, and in terms of how the industry is changing, but at the same time, yeah, I'm here for it. Really, you got to change and adapt with the times. Really, so yeah.
Yeah.
I wanna.
To do
I wanna.
ads, well is a massive learning curve. So have you been working with someone to learn that new skill and new marketing approach, or
Yes, I've been scouring so many sort of like videos, courses. I feel like I would be able to give myself a course literally on masterclass on how to sort of like create Instagram ads and do them well, really. Difference between Instagram ads that are image led and those that are video led, and sort of like differences, creating great hooks that would allow couples really to engage with it easily, whether you are sending couples straight to your website or you're making it easy for them within Instagram, within the platform itself, to literally just input their details and kind of like send it away. There's so many different ways of doing it, really. Whether you do it by DM outreach, where you literally encourage them to literally DM you. I find that the thing that really has worked for me, it's just to make it as easy as possible for people to get in touch with you, really. So yeah, the ads that really have worked for me are the ones that are sort of like video led, and within the platform they input name, number, location, date, just the initial details that I really need, and then we literally engage in conversation, really, from there, really. And I find that as well, not many couples are sort of like using email these days. It's WhatsApp is king in some ways, the way people have been using it, really. Blame Gen Z. So yeah, it's been an eye opener, and really good, really fun, really fun to learn and analyze. I love to analyze things really. So it's been a learning curve at the same time, and the results have been great really from it really. But yeah, there's just so much to learn. There's people out there getting incredible results as well, and yes, I'm getting great results, but there's so much more to learn as well. So yeah.
What were your favorite resources to learn about Instagram ads?
Ooh, so many. For me personally, YouTube really. YouTube has been really, really good. You get so many people that are throwing courses out there. Let me think. Someone that's been absolutely loving it up in terms of ads and SEO that is a photographer, but it's more an educator these days. Catalina Jean. She's absolutely incredible, and just in terms of her branding as well, in terms of her personal branding, she's got it on the money really, in terms of how she's very much branding herself and her courses. She's one that I would definitely recommend people to check out. Yeah, yeah,
That be
100%.
okay, cool. Just having a wee browse for our website. Oh, looks cool. There's a lot there.
Yeah, check out
Alright.
Instagram. Check out Instagram. It's really, really good, because I find that in terms of personal branding, in terms of how people show up within someone's feed, has changed so much over the last year. People, I think photographers have really woken up to the fact that, yeah, okay, I need to show my face. I need to be here, sort of thing. And the way Catalina is doing it is very much on how the branding world, the personal branding world, is doing it, in terms of how sort of like Instagram creators are doing it. And she's kind of like blending that and bringing it a little bit into the wedding industry, which is really, really fun to see. It just shows that you can draw your inspirations from literally anywhere, really. And yeah, she's absolutely bossing that. So kudos to her.
Interesting. I'm definitely gonna check that out. Are there any like tips off the top of your head, like maybe like a few milestone epiphany moments that you had when you were doing Instagram ads, for example? And why Instagram ads, especially when there are so many different platforms to focus on? Yeah, because I think who's I forget the name, but he constantly he owns or works for Instagram, and he constantly puts out posts about what's good about the platform, what they're working on, the kind of future of it. And I think a lot of people, I think he gets a lot of flack for the things that he says, and I don't think people appreciate Instagram like they once did.
Yeah, I think very much that. I think people don't appreciate Instagram from where it has come from, especially because the fact that it was, and still is, but let's say it was free, and you can still have incredible success with Instagram in terms of like without paying or boosting posts. I would definitely say do not boost posts. Yes, they work to specific posts, but if you're able to very much create a specific post or a specific ad really, and then target that a bit more mindfully, it'll be so much, it'll go so much further really. But just the whole idea of actually paying for something, I think people sometimes don't want to have that sort of like, it's hard to grow from that mindset of kind of like investing, and then investing into your business, and then um, will this return actually give me something of value or not, or will I literally be wasting my money here? I think it's going past that, and just experimenting really. So yeah, experimenting it's crucial. But I find that Instagram ads, they just work for me. It's not to say that Google ads are bad or Facebook ads. Yeah, who's on Facebook anyway? But it's not to say that they're bad, but it's just that has worked for me, if that makes sense, really. So I can't really speak on the other stuff, really. But at the same time, TikTok, it was probably a couple of weeks ago that I posted on there, and just kind of like, because I was working so hard on Instagram ads, I was kind of like thinking to myself, okay, just let's put some more effort into TikTok and just kind of like see what's happening. And literally, as I open it up, one of the first things that I see is literally brides asking for photographers and referrals. And literally, you should read through the comments. It's like thousands and thousands of people pitching themselves really for it. But again, it just shows on how the industry is changing and in some different ways, really, on how people are shopping. TikTok Shop is one of those things that is all the rage at the moment. Whether our industry is clued up to it or not, that's a different story, or how it would look like, that's a different story.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just love to sort of like look at those sort of things and see how we can tap into it, really. So yeah, hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, I was just thinking when you were talking about TikTok, I was thinking, well, have you heard of Blushing Brides? So,
Blushing Brides?
yeah,
No.
it's like a Facebook group in
Okay.
in the UK, and it seems to be like just people looking for deals on wedding suppliers, and there's a lot of moaning and stuff. And I'm not on it. I'm not on it that much. If like I don't really know that much about it. All I know is there are like things pop off every now and then, and that's kind of what it sounded like for TikTok. Like I don't. Oh God, this is going to be terrible. Should I say it?
Say
Race.
it.
It's like race to the bottom photographers.
Yes,
Like
yes.
to pitch prices and
Yeah.
outdo each other with the cheapest thing. And I'm sorry if that's offensive to
No, it's not
people
offensive.
out
It's
there,
the
but
reality of it, really, and it's
yeah,
one of those things that's always been in our industry, whether people like to admit or not. It's always been there. It's how we sort of like constantly have to be educating photographers that are coming in and just reminding people that it's not a race to the bottom. There's plenty of space for everybody, even though it might not feel like it, especially during times like there are today with cost of living or whatever it might be, really.
yeah.
But it's the constant education, really, that allowing yourself being seen for your work, for who you are in terms of your personality. That's really what sells and really brings the right clients to you as well. That's the thing, because whilst people might be happy to do the race to the bottom, and well, at least the three of us would know that those tend to be most of the times the sort of clients that pay the less and ask for the most, if that makes sense. So yeah, I get it.
In terms of industry changes and the way people book, you sort of mentioned, have you seen the change that's been commonly noticed where the lead times to weddings are shorter, like from inquiry
Changed
to
so
booking?
much.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Literally, my best wedding, or my most expensive wedding, let's say, from last year, literally came within a month notice. And it wasn't even like a month, maybe a month and a half. It was like that, really. So yes, lead times they're just completely ridiculous at the moment. So you kind of like have to be able to adapt, and yeah, it's just the way it is, really. It's just the way it is.
I love that little pause that you gave when you kind of caught yourself. You said your best clients. Oh no! Oh, oh God! Forgive me. Stuff. Best wedding, and then you change it to the clients who paid the most.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people get those two confused quite often.
Yes, it's true. It's true. Even I do, definitely, because yes, there's a sort of like, what's the word? There's a sort of like hierarchy, better said, that the people can very much put on, especially now these days, the way that industry trends are happening, really, where luxury weddings at the moment are here, and perhaps in the past you could have said that destination weddings would have been sort of like the pinnacle, really. I would say luxury, destination, and whatever else as it filters down in terms of the hierarchy of what the industry may perceive what is sort of like the best wedding at the moment, or type of wedding. So yeah, it's quite dangerous. And yeah, at the same time, what I'm loving to see at the same time is our industry fighting back against those sort of like thoughts and mindsets. Really, you got incredible posts popping off on how people need to be more mindful in terms of how people capture weddings, how not how people capture weddings, how industry awards are being given and why they're being given. is everyone looking the same sort of? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those sort of things. And recently, Annabelle from Love My Dress, she's incredible. She, whenever I read her posts, she always stops me in my tracks and makes me again think, reevaluate myself. Okay, how is my business working in this industry and contributing towards the betterment of the wedding industry, really? And I find that her and many others are sort of like fighting back towards those sort of like mindsets that can be wrongly attributed to our industry in terms of that sort of like hierarchy that we were talking about. So yeah.
Yeah. On the last episode that you were on, and
Mhm.
again, forgive me because I can't remember the number, but it was 2023, which was like a few years ago now. We covered a huge, well, yeah, it was a lot of things. One of those was obviously your style.
Mhm.
We talked about obviously your destination work, your bookings. I think we mentioned the shift from COVID. How is your work changed since then?
Good question. Find that it's hard. It's really hard to say how it has changed. Yes, I know sort of like the obvious changes in terms of, I could tell you in terms of like editing. It might be less on the darker, moodier side, a bit more on the more to natural, but still Igor. In terms of what else? In terms of how I shoot, I would probably say I'm a bit more, even more intentional, even more brutal in terms of when I shoot.
Mm-hmm.
And what I show, probably even more intentional, to my own detriment sometimes. I blame the perfectionist in me, really. But yeah. I think those are certain things that I would say have changed, really. Yeah, something that I really, really, really want to go back to, that perhaps has changed, and I want to zone into a lot more. It's just storytelling. Hence the website changed. Literally happened a few months ago. I really want to dive back into it a lot more, but at the same time, um, just experiment. I say storytelling on one side, but at the same time, experiment with single images a bit more, where it literally looks like art, where you'd be able to literally just hang that single image in a completely different way, really. So yeah, there's a few ways in terms of how the work has changed and hopefully is evolving, really.
Yeah. Quick question. You've said this a couple of times. It's more Igor. What do you mean by that? It's cool, but I want to know specifically what you mean.
Yeah, I think what I'm trying to say, it's more work. It's more, when I say more ego, it's work that fills my heart, makes me sort of like look at it, and I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm happy with that. It might not. But I'm okay with, even if I'm not happy, I'm okay with letting it go here, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You've done a few brushstrokes here and there, and whatever it might be, and you're kind of like, yeah, I'm content with that, really. It's never perfect, but yeah, I think that's what I mean with it, really.
Yeah, that's cool. Just describe your style then, or describe it now for people who might not have seen it. Like, what would the descriptors be?
I love to zone in on light. I love locations, and I love simple moments. It doesn't need to be sort of like massive. I don't know. It's really hard. It's really, really hard to sort of like describe your own style, and I find that I much prefer other people describe my style, and I'm like, yeah, I agree with that. I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. That is so.
and I'm happy, and I'm happy to say sort of like, I don't agree with that. I can see how you thought that, but then sort of like bring a greater sense of clarity, really. When you start with me on it's so hard. It's literally so hard.
I was just thinking about a time where clients would come back and they describe their work, and I'm like, oh, I don't think we do that. Do we do that? It's so funny. It's always interesting. So you do have to have like a conversation with the clients, but
yeah, I think if I really think about it, and from a past work and sort of like past analysis, really, and I think it's still true today. Really, it's the sort of work that you'd be happily see it on Condé Nast Traveler, sort of like lifestyle, but it just happened to be weddings. I like to sort of like include locations and perhaps images that don't necessarily are the obvious one in terms of what people might see during the day. But yeah, lifestyle. It's the one thing that sort of like always drew me to wedding photography, being able to do lifestyle photography, sort of like photographers like, I don't know, Eric McVeigh, film photographer.
Mm-hmm.
His lifestyle work is beautiful, really. Stuff like that that's always attracted me to wedding photography at the same time. So yeah, I try to do that in some ways, but it's so yeah, I'm rambling. It's hard. It's hard to describe.
Yeah, I totally get that. I'm intrigued. Right? So we talked about your style. What are you doing less of nowadays? Because I feel like it's very easy to be like, oh, I want to be doing more of this, and I want to be doing this. But obviously, we've only got a certain amount of time or a certain amount of memory in the card. What are you, if anything, and maybe I'm just wrong here, what are you choosing not to shoot?
In terms of
If anything.
speech, yeah, if anything, yeah. Speeches, I find that I'm a lot more intentional. I used to be very much the sort of person that, especially when you're starting out, spray and pray because you don't want to miss anything, really. I think that more than anything, the amount that I shoot is a lot less in general. Simply because I'm being a bit more intentional. But at the same time, ever since I got a mirrorless, the amount of numbers, the move from DSLR to mirrorless, the amount of images that I would end up literally increased by, I don't know, fivefold, whatever it might be. So it kind of like forced me to sort of like, okay, this no, it can't work like this, because you'll just end up with galleries, or just come back with a raw folder of literally 15,000 images that you can, just literally have to sit through and whatever else, really. But yeah, I find that I'm being a lot more decisive in terms of what I shoot. I guess it comes with experience, really, but yeah.
I'm intrigued then, like how many for say a typical wedding, and we'll say obviously you do a lot of destinations, so I'm assuming there's 1 or 2 days with that. But let's take just one day for a typical wedding destination. How many images are you walking away from in your memory card?
It depends. It depends what sort of event it is, and if it's small, if it's big, and everything else. But let's just say, on average, probably around anywhere between 6 to 8,000.
Okay.
So yeah, anywhere between 6 to 8,000, and then I whittle it down in after shoot, which is an incredible tool. And usually I bring everything down to around 1,000.
Yeah. Okay. And that's your delivery number, is that?
Yeah, around that. It literally depends. But if it's a really, really good day and I really struggle to sort of like bring certain images to sort of like this one or that one, it's okay,
Yeah.
let's just go with both, or just change them up in different lights. Yes, it can go up to 1,200, but around that, really. And if I'm sort of like on the 800 to 1,000 mark, I know it was a good day.
Yeah, that's cool. Are you and how are you delivering those?
Through Pixie Sets. Currently changing it to PicTime, because I find out that PicTime is they're both. I've been going back and forth between the two of them for a while, to be fair, but I sort of like decided, yeah, PicTime is it, really, because I think PicTime is constantly improving the way it provide services towards photographers, and especially with their apps within PicTime. I find that really, really helpful. And at the same time, the way PicTime as well allows you to, yes, that Pixie set does it, but it's just different really, and it just looks incredible. And the way PicTime allows you to have, yes, your images, but also video within the same gallery. Just the way it displays it, it's beautiful, really. So yeah. In a day and age today where couples very much appreciate not just your images, but the content that you bring, and perhaps clips as well, that you're snapping away, that you sort of like recording away, here and there. Yeah, it just works really, really well. So yeah, PicTime is the way forward for anyone that's sort of like.
So I didn't know you moved to PicTime. No, it's just we're PicTime ambassadors, and what a perfect place to slot in the sponsor note right now.
There we go.
We're going to interrupt this podcast to bring you an advertisement for PicTime. Our buddies at PicTime, we love PicTime. If you want to elevate your business, PicTime's maybe the way to do it.
It's an online gallery delivery service.
It's a really good looking one, which is initially how we got into the service. It just looks better than all the other kind of platforms that we personally use.
Yeah, and we've over time got to know the owners, got to know the people behind it. Lovely people, great support system there as well.
There's just so many tools at your fingertips with PicTime, but the marketing and the blogs and the slideshow features.
Yeah, there's so much more than just a gallery delivery service. You've got all those things that Simon was talking about. You can create your own blog from it. You can create slideshows. One new feature that I really love is the vendor network. It's where you can use AI to curate a gallery for a specific supplier. So you could use AI to gather all the photos of the flowers and send them to the florist, and they would have that gallery specific just for them.
It's kind of a mind-blowing feature.
Yeah.
And we might as well be taking advantage of AI before the uprising and it starts taking advantage of us. So let's just all bear that in mind.
Yeah, and not to mention the built-in store, and that way you can just make more money while also having a nice, aesthetically pretty gallery.
Yeah. And if you want to sign up today, you can get a free month if you use Perspective at checkout.
Yeah.
So if you want to test out for free for a month, go for it.
Take your business to the next level with PicTime.
But yeah, so we're back in the sponsor note. For those watching, you might have noticed that Greg's camera had elongated his whole body. So we took the sponsor note to just fix that visual issue. You were still very pretty, Greg. It's just, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Make me a bit skinnier.
Greg, there's nothing wrong with the shape and size you are. Everyone's beautiful.
You're beautiful as you are.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And I'll have no one else say otherwise. Not even if they leave a review of 5 stars, but they say that, which they probably should leave a 5-star review on this podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. Anyway, actually, talking about podcasts, hang on a minute. Igor, you used to have a podcast. How's that going? Is it going? What's happened? What's going on? Because
It's not going.
Oh, no! What happened?
Me and Sam very much paused another idea and decided to focus on our own businesses, really. It's nothing against Sam. It was very much a mutual thing, really. We still chat pretty much every week. Love each other.
You hate him, don't you? You hate him. You had a fight.
Did you know?
That was it. You're like, I can't look at your face across the table anymore in this co-working space. No, I'm out of here.
No, it's just priorities.
Co-working space.
It's Sam.
The office.
Sam does. Yes.
Sam does, right?
Yes, okay. Sam does. Because I would. This is the thing with it. Because I would travel up to Derby. So I'm based in Peterborough, Cambridgeshire.
Yep.
I would travel up to Derby, which sometimes would take me 2 hours, depending on traffic, really. And we would smash out probably 3 episodes and do this twice a month or so, which worked for a while, really. But it got to a point where, you guys know, doing this really, it costs a lot, really. It just costs a lot. And our priorities literally changed, and we found out that our businesses really, our web photographer businesses and education businesses really needed a lot more attention really than what we were putting into the podcast really. So yeah, it needed to be sort of like lower down the list really. It was literally that the priority needed to be lower down the list really. So yeah, if we find that the priority can be taken up again, yeah, maybe another day. That's why we when we joke about it, we always say, yeah, it's paused. It's not stopped. It's paused because we could come back to it. But yeah, let's see.
So you mentioned your educational stuff. Is that still going?
Yes, education very much still going.
Sure.
Not as much as last year, really. Well, we just started. But got some stuff in the pipe work that I'm working towards that really. So yeah, very, very much so. Yeah.
Anything you can tell our listeners about?
Nope.
So many secrets from our guests these days, Greg. No one wants to spill the goss on anything, whether they've been NDA'd
you can talk about weird. Let's talk about weird for a wee bit. Like what?
Okay, let's talk about
what
weird.
What got you to say yes to that?
It was an easy yes. When Luke got in touch, he just kind of like told me the vision for it, and which is very much my vibe anyway. If you've been to any of my workshops, especially the in-person ones, I love sort of like the conversational style that you can get of sitting down and learning from someone. And I find that yes, presentations, keynotes, they're great, they're amazing. They can be really, really inspirational, and you can get a lot of information that literally hurts your head and you kind of like pumping after it really. But I find that it's the conversations in between that are really, really zone in certain aspects of certain ideas that really click for people. It's those sort of conversations that really, really make it conferences and workshops so invaluable really. So yeah, the fact that Word is very much like that on steroids with a very chilled environment in the Lake District, just environment around us is incredible really. So yeah, really, really looking forward to it, and it was such an easy yes as well. And also the speakers are incredible really. Are people that have got such a variety of styles and characters really. You got Kate Hampson, who's literally, she's a fireball, and literally you want to become her best friends immediately. I've never actually met Kate. I saw her whilst I was speaking at Way Up North, and she was one of the other speakers. And you know, Way Up North is just so big really, that it's very hard to sort of like connect with everyone that you'd like to really. But she was absolutely incredible there. So I'm really looking forward to getting to know her. You got Ed, who's very, very different, a bit more down to earth, quiet. As soon as I saw him, I was like, "Oh, me and Ed are gonna go for some runs together." I can see that happening really.
Some runs, did you say?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, as in going outside and moving your 2 feet around
and moving your
runs.
legs.
Okay. I feel like I was really dense there. Sorry.
No.
I was like, is this a new 2026 term?
No, I've been really into running over the past year, probably a couple of years, but the last year has been incredible, really, and just gym in general, and health and exercise has been massive, really. So yeah, as soon as I saw that.
Is this from Sam? Did Sam teach you this? Because I know the last it was like a I say this because Sam basically did a talk at Thrive one year in Glasgow, and his biggest, like, one of the major focuses on that was looking after your physical health so you can actually do this job for a longer amount of time.
Yes.
And obviously, like, so Greg manages the release schedule for these episodes. But I'm assuming that around the release time of this episode, people with those New Year's resolutions might be starting to struggle a little bit.
They'll be long gone.
Yeah.
Greg, I have more faith in them.
I don't have faith in humanity.
So we will get back to weird, I promise, Luke, I promise. But I want to stick on this for a little bit. Health, fitness, running, like help people out. Advice.
For me, what really, really changed for me and what made it really enjoyable is having goals. So towards the sort of like, it was around May time, I decided that I wanted to do a half marathon. And at first, I had done one before. I'd done a High Rocks doubles, but I wanted to do a
Ooh.
High Rocks solo,
Mm-hmm.
which is grueling, really, because you're literally, it's all on you, really. All
Yep.
sort of things go through your mind. I'm like, why am I putting myself through this? Whose idea was this, literally, to do this? I'm in pain. I want to stop. No, don't stop. Yeah, but having those goals, literally just shifted everything, because it just meant that I created a plan with the help of trusted ChatGPT. It doesn't you don't necessarily need to kind of like have a PT or anything like that. But yeah, ChatGPT was my PT for a little bit, and it just meant that every day I knew exactly what I needed to do, and yeah, I achieved those goals and more, which I was really happy with. But at the same time, it's yes, you whether you achieve the goals or not, it doesn't really matter, because just the lead up to it and the journey in itself, that's what's really really taught me a lot, really, in terms of just discipline and showing up, because I find that the actual training itself was way harder than the events. Yeah,
Oh, interesting.
yeah. Yes, the events, they were hard and everything else, but because I'd gone through the training, really, and it was hard work, really. And I found that when I actually came to the days of actually perform, I was very much of the mindset, okay, you've done this before, you know what you're going to go for. Now you just gotta enjoy the dance floor and just go for it, really. So yeah.
Yeah.
In terms
Awesome.
of implementing that into like a working day, are you quite good at structuring your days in terms of, right, morning run, X amount of emails, then edit, or are you quite sporadic like a lot of
No, I
photographers
had to
probably
have a
are?
structure. I literally have to have a structure, because otherwise nothing would happen, really. Even every single day would have a specific thing, really. So Mondays it would be upper body, Tuesday, Thursdays, Saturdays would be my run days. So yeah, Tuesdays usually tend to be speed work. Thursdays usually to be threshold work. Saturdays, long day run. And they used to be sort of like my favorite, because I would literally just stick a podcast on and just literally just go for it, really. And then just strength work the other days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, with a few sort of like high rocks intense exercises on Fridays. And as I led up to it, the sort of like plan changed a bit more, focused onto high rocks itself, and had a few simulations where I literally did full high rocks at the gym, which is quite entertaining to watch. But yeah, it was hard work, but at the same time, it's a lifestyle, and it just shows that you can do it. I think I learned a lot simply because of my wife as well, because she's a machine. She's absolutely incredible. Like, her running paces are just silly. Like, you look at it and you kind of like think how. And High Rocks itself, she's incredible, having been at a podium several times. So yeah, she inspires me a lot. And yeah, just having people around you that are better than you, it really really encourages you a lot, really, to focus on things that really just improve your whole betterment, really, in general, really. So yeah, and I find that just exercise in itself really just gives me a clearer focus for my day, really. I find that these days, if I don't do some sort of like type of exercise before I actually get to kind of like sit at my desk, the day just looks very different. Yes, I can do it, but focus is different, and my mood is different. So yeah. improves
I
all
would
sort of things.
I would agree with the mood, and I'm wondering if anyone can see the difference or hear the difference with me, just because I have realized that I say ums and ahs a lot, and my
Mhm.
energy has been kind of erratic recently. But I did go for a run this morning before the podcast, and so coming in, I feel a little bit more even, which is interesting. But yeah, I have to say, well done, Igor, for doing Hyrox and not making it like your personality that you just like plaster all over the internet.
When he says he's got a
Sam was
separate
really
channel
funny.
for it.
Sam was
Like,
really
it's-
funny that I can't wait to see all your half naked images on Instagram, and, and I'm like,
I'm not gonna lie.
that's not me.
I'm
That's
not-
not me.
I'm not gonna lie. Oh God. Okay, I'm gonna sound like I'm gonna get bitchy here. I cannot. It's just for people who post their workouts, amazing, doing a great job. I don't think anyone cares. I love you. I love you. I'm so sorry you're having to hear this on a podcast that you probably didn't expect, but I just couldn't care less. I'm sorry.
I find it encouraging. I do find it encouraging because I literally follow so many athletes, and literally,
Yeah.
and yeah, I should change my algorithm is messed up. Really,
Oh my God, I can't even imagine.
it's like a combo of weddings and
Mhm.
high rocks, running, a lot of running, and parenting memes, and it's just like it's so many things in there, really. But yes, I do find it encouraging, really. Those type of sort of like that type of content, really. Yeah.
Yeah. I probably should correct myself because I might have indirectly just offended your wife there because
No.
again I don't know much about your wife, so I do apologize. But there's certain people I think who that's their career or that's their goal, and that's
Exactly.
kind of the thing. I think it's just like Joe Schmo. I'm going for a run. Cool. Anyway, I'm being too negative. I don't like this. I don't. Why did I take this?
Because
down
it
this?
has.
I'm gonna.
I was
go.
going to say you reminded me because it has changed, really. It has changed so much over the years, and I think running is a trend at the moment. It literally is a trend where
Interesting. Okay.
you would be able to literally just put a t-shirt on, grab some shorts, get your trainers out, and just go. Whereas today, you gotta have the shades, you gotta have the whatever, you gotta have the latest shoes that but gotta be carbon plated. Otherwise, yeah,
Oh
it's
my
just,
God,
just so
the
much.
shoe
Just so much.
industry. Oh, you know what? Let's move away because I feel myself about to like fucking obliterate the shoe industry. Sorry, right? Let's move along. Greg,
So,
how's your fitness?
education.
No, I'm just kidding.
Photography education. What do you feel photographers need to learn now? Like what should most photographers sort of improve on in the year going forward?
Ooh,
And as an industry as a whole, I guess.
Such a good question. That's a hard one because everyone is just so different, really. I find that no, I don't know. There could be some topics. I mean, you caught me off guard on that one, and it's a really good question. So I'll have to go back to you. What does the industry or what do photographers have to learn or want to learn or should be learning?
I guess like just what do you feel that could be improved on in the industry?
I'd have to think about it. Yeah. It's a really good question. I don't want to do a disservice and kind of like just blurting something out just for the sake of answering it because I'd have to think about it. Yeah.
I guess so at Weird then I think each of the speakers have a section where they're doing a talk. Have you gave any thought to what you're going to be talking about, what the subject matter might be?
Yes, and it's for me, it's quite easy really because it's topics that are sort of like dear to my heart, and at the same time are strengths within me really. So obviously that's nation weddings, but at the same time, finding inspiration and drawing inspiration from things that are outside of the wedding industry really, because it's so easy again to just look like everybody else and in some ways answering your question, it's the one thing that I'm seeing within the industry that it's and it goes in waves season after season, but and everybody is sort of like starting to look the same. It's especially with the whole luxury market really sort of like being seen as the pinnacle at the moment, where work is just literally starting to look the same, and it can be quite hard to differentiate who is who. Really, I find that is truly a thing that is sadly being lost, because for me personally, one of the things that really got me into the wedding industry, that made me want to become a wedding photographer, not just a photographer, but a wedding photographer, was the fact that I would look at specific wedding photographers and I would see, I'm like, wow, his work or her work, it's absolutely incredible, and I can really tell that it's their own work. I can see their visual identity from a mile away, and it's them, and they wear it with pride, and yeah, it just works. And if you try to emulate that, it would not look anywhere near that, but at the same time you feel inspired by it. So yeah, we very much moved away from that. You still have those incredible photographers today, of course, but I find out that we're very much in the danger of everyone just kind of like being in the same melting pot and looking the same. It's very easy. So yeah, I find that it's working on how to visually look different is a massive thing, but at the same time, within your personal brand is super crucial as well. I find that those things are the things that couples are looking at. It's not just your work these days that really sell towards couples and towards the industry. It's your personal brand, really, the way you show up, whether it's in your website or whether it's on social media. It really, really, really matters today. So those two things are super, super crucial, really. Yeah.
What inspires you, like outside the wedding industry? Like, are there any creatives that you can kind of bring to your forethought? And
Yeah, easily. There's so many, like literally so many. I consume so much, really, that I know that it quite a lot of the things that get me going to kind of like, all right, let's create, or just gives me ideas, really. But you get creators like OMG Adrian Pear, who's absolutely incredible. He's changed the game in terms of content creation and how people present themselves really in front of a camera. Really, you can very much see that it feels effortless, but at the same time, when you look at the behind the scenes of how he prepares everything, it's methodical, it takes time, it's scripted, it's it's intentional, it's very, very much intentional, but at the same time it just feels very, very natural, really. But I think, again, it just comes from the reps and the preparation that he's done beforehand, really, and that very much comes from his background within art directing, really, videos, music videos, and very much setting scripts and shots and angles on how things are gonna transition to the other thing. Really, he's absolutely incredible. Carl Shakur, he's absolutely incredible. Again, both of these guys, it's just mainly personal branding that I absolutely love, on how they sort of like present themselves, really. But they can literally be talking about anything. But with Carl, what I really like is his style of on storytelling. He really zones in on being able to tell a story in a really clever way and cool way, in a way that in a way that I can relate to, if that makes sense. So yeah, I really like that. And then you get YouTube galore, really, that you can just get so inspired with. But one that goes to the forefront of the mind straight away, you guys probably know him, Gorks.
oh yeah,
Guy, 20 something, that is just absolutely ridiculous in terms of how he blends in his favorite styles of music with video and art, and stuff like that just really, really makes me inspired to actually create different stuff within the wedding work that I create, really. So yeah.
Where do you apply the inspiration on a wedding day? Like, is this like when you
I
come
think
across something like a scene and you're like, oh, maybe I'll do this?
Mhm.
Or is it more like planned beforehand?
Exactly. It's very much planned beforehand, and I find that it just depends on the client really as well, and the sort of like story that you want to tell.
Yeah.
And I find that especially with those sort of like three creators I mentioned, especially the three of them to be fair, all within their work, you'll find a lot of preparation beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
And those applications, if you were to apply it to a wedding, for example, I find that it would be more afterwards, really, as well. It's
Mm-hmm.
in terms of the way that you actually present it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
whether the piece of music that you choose towards it is a bit more out there, might be a jazz piece rather than something,
Mm.
rather than bringing Olivia Dean to a
Yeah.
reel or whatever to the slideshow or whatever it might be that you're presenting, really.
Mm.
I find that it's being intentional and just drawing different ideas and different aspects, really. And people are doing it. People, I find it incredible, really, our industry, because there's so much space to be creative and just do things differently. And this is why I love educating, really, because I love seeing people's eyes opening to the fact that, oh, okay, I really have permission to literally do this whichever way I want to do this. And it doesn't need
Mm-hmm.
to be how my Instagram feed at the moment is looking like. It can be something completely different. And
Yeah.
within that is your own voice. Within that is your own style, really. Yeah.
Hey, I'm Ashley from With Jack. I'm one of the sponsors of the Perspective podcast. With Jack helps to keep photographers in business by supporting them financially and legally if they have problems with a client or they make a mistake in their work. We've all had that fear of our CF card or our hard drive failing and losing important photos. You can find out more at withjack.co.uk. Head over there and find out how we can help you be a confident creative.
Have you heard of Digital Spaghetti on
Yes,
YouTube?
of course.
So Digital Spaghetti is hosted by Jack Conte, who
owns
maybe
Patreon.
Yeah, that's right. He owns Patreon. His YouTube channel is actually really great for small interviews and actually longer form interviews. So if you're out there listening and you're like, oh, who are these people that Igor's mentioning? Digital Spaghetti actually might give you some of those names and a sit down conversation with them. And quite often they go through their creative process, which I find super, super interesting, especially for those creatives that are on a budget. Now, I will say, weddings are interesting because they're both creative, but at the same time, you still have to do a job where everything is kind of out with your control. You know, like
You got your
what
parameters,
people.
haven't you? You got your guidelines.
Yeah, exactly. And I think people can struggle moving creatively within those guidelines. Do you have any tips there?
I find that the guidelines themselves are sort of like I don't. Yes, I use them, but they're there to be broken in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, let's say trying to think of a specific guideline that you might think that I don't know, that you would just break a rule on quite easily, and I don't know, hard to think on my feet without sort of like
Yeah.
notes or anything, but
Mm.
just the way it might not even be following the guidelines of what the industry says, but perhaps analyzing your own work and seeing that I constantly keep doing this in a specific way, or keep doing portraits in a specific way. Let's try and change it up. Let's try and really create some portraits where I'm really zoning in into specific moments that are quite close up, let's say, focusing on hands, focusing on gestures, focusing on a little flow of the dress or something like that, and really go OTT in terms of like zoning in on that, really.
Mm.
I find that for most people, they would be like, "What you did that on a wedding day?" Like you kind of like experimenting on that rather than just kind of like just taking standard shots. Yes, of course, take your standard shots, but then just play, just really go for it in terms of zoning in on that specific idea. It doesn't need to be that. That's just generic, really. But
do you think styled shoots are good for pushing the people's creativity? Like,
yes,
if somebody's
100%.
wanting to try something different, is that something you'd encourage to do? Yeah.
That's what they're there for, really. And from my point of view, yeah, I'm not afraid of experimenting because again, it comes with experience. So kind of like I know what I need to get, and then okay, I'm kind of like okay, I've got what I need for them. Now let's play. Really, let's try and get weird and trying and see if this works. And most of the times. 70% time it does work. Sometimes it's kind of like, this is not going anywhere. So, yeah, you just kind of like quickly ditch it and just move on to the next idea, really. But style shoots, yes, they very much help, and I'm so for them because that is the time to experiment. That is the time to really try and learn new techniques, see what everyone else is doing, really, and yeah, just experiment. Really, if there's one thing that style shoots are there for, yes, one is get content for your own portfolio, but number two would be to experiment. Really.
So when I asked that question, I thought the limitations for me were things like you don't have a choice in the venue. You don't have a choice of what people are wearing. You don't have a choice quite often what the sun, like what time things are happening. And those are some big aspects in terms of like filmmaking.
Yeah.
How, like, are there ways of, like, what other ways do you think people can like make something visually different when you
Yeah.
are given such restrictions like those three, for example?
Yeah. No, this really excites me because it's those sort of things really that people are hiring us for, and I think that as wedding photographers, we need to be constantly be visually educating ourselves, and that's why I'm constantly learning from other filmmakers and how they see light, how they're viewing things, how they're building sets. Because when you actually get on the day and you kind of like, that's not going to work, at least for me, where you literally are going to have to, you have this one scene and you just want that tiny little thing. There's a slither of light over there. And don't be afraid of literally selecting things and being selective within those areas, whether whether it's a guest where you don't necessarily, I'm not sure about that dress choice or whatever it might be, but there might be one specific aspect of it that you really like. There's a floral pattern of it that you really like, for example. That's the other thing that second shooting sometimes offers, and especially when you are second shooting for someone that just wants you to get stuff creatively. Really, I love those sort of like gigs. And I had one this summer where I literally said to the main shooter, I'm just gonna, it was really colourful, summer day in Cambridgeshire. Everyone's like, it's typical English countryside wedding. And I'm just like, everyone's just wearing so many different patterns. And I'm just going to zoom in on those patterns and just kind of like, I can see this collage being made. And that sort of like represents what everyone wore within the day, rather than just literally focusing on the specific person or dress or attire, whatever it might be. Just literally zoom in on that specific pattern, whatever it might be, and I can literally just see a massive collage of things being presented, and couples and photographer absolutely loving it. Or they might not.
Yeah.
They might not. But it's simple things like that, really, that represents the day, and just having the ability to take bold choices creatively really pays off. Really pays off, because I find that it's in those sort of moments where you really are able to create work that's slightly different, work that very much fills you up and makes you want to go again towards your next wedding and just smash it even harder, really.
Yeah. What film what lens choices are you using? And I ask that because I shoot primarily on a 28 to 70.
70.
Yep, sorry, 28 to 70. My bad. And I
So
think
Canon.
I'm sorry, but I'm shooting. What is that lens I've got? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's a Sony 2870.
It's a Sony. It is a Sony. Yeah, couldn't remember if it was Sigma or whatever. But yeah, the Sony version. But I do find that when I was going to shoot video, that focal length was fine. But
Mhm.
when I was doing like photography elements, there were certain times where I would want to again, like you said, really hone in on certain things. But the way I see things, it was very much with a 35 in mind.
Mhm.
You know, like so quite wide. And getting a lot of that story of the environment in there.
Yeah.
But sometimes I've been wanting to like really getting close to tell those little micro details that you were talking about. So I'm intrigued. What lens choices are you going for?
Yeah, these days, primarily shoot on a 2870.
Okay.
It's the workhorse really. I've got that literally always on me,
Mm-hmm.
and depending on what section of the day it might be, if it's let's say speeches, ceremony, sometimes dance floor really, if I really want to hone in on certain aspects or just create a different vibe really,
Mhm.
I would be using the 135
For the dancing?
And yes,
Oh,
just kind of like
interesting.
just getting a distance
Yeah.
and get some hands going,
Mhm.
slower your shutter and just see what happens really.
Mhm.
It only happened a few times, but I've got some like interesting results that couples have been really, really happy with, and especially couples that are quite creative themselves. So they kind of like, yeah, we get this, and we vibe with that.
Mhm.
But yeah, that would be the 135, 85 sometimes. But that's quite close to the 70 to 28 to
Yeah.
70
Mm.
anyway. So yeah, sometimes I bring the tilt shift out. Not so much these days, but if I have time, I'll really get it out. And yeah, that's it in some ways. Yes, I've got
Mm.
other lenses. I've got the 35 and the 24 as well. So let's say I'm using flash with it, which would be an off-camera flash. Usually the 24 comes with that really.
Yeah.
On the dance floor, that's sort of like the favorite towards
That
it.
I think a lot of people are doing the whole direct flash, shutter drag type dance floor photos. I find
Yeah,
them really easy to do because you can just
yeah.
get your settings and then walk around and go boom, and then just wait time the movements of the other person, right? You can get some
Hmm.
pretty cool images. But the
Yes,
135, I was interested. What was your approach with using that lens on a dance floor? Because that is pretty tight. And are you
it is. It,
flashing? Are you having trouble with the
no,
autofocus? Like what?
no. First of all, it has to be from a distance.
Mhm.
So you can't use it in every single environment. And the couple 2-3 times I've used it, it's been from a height really, just to kind of like
Okay.
get the best way of describing it is. Do you know that meme from what's the TV series? Specific TV series with the
Is it the one
actor
that's
from
really
Mad.
popular just now where he
Yeah,
turns his
with
head?
the
Yeah.
exactly that, with the actor from
Oh.
Mad Men, where he
Yeah.
literally closes his eye and it's like lights are blue. He's literally on a dance floor. Yeah, literally there. That's the sort of like vibe I'm sort of like trying to achieve, but quite close up. But it usually tends to be hands, feet, anything I can get really that might be interesting really, and most of the times it's playing really. You just don't know what you're going to get until you actually
Mm.
try it really. And similar with the tilt shift, sometimes they get it out really and you really have to yank the ISO up really to try and get something out of it within that sort of like setting really. But it just depends how lighting is, if a videographer might be having a video light or I don't tend to use much strobes or stands really. So what I get is usually what I tend to work with, depending on the scenario really. If I really know that's going to be dark, then I tend to have this sort of like aperture light with me that it's quite easy to sort of like use with me, or just flash really. It just depends really. I love to have the options, but most of the times I don't tend to get them out really. So yeah, the 135 is it's fun to use in that sort of scenario. You just gotta it's play. You just play. Just try different things really. It's not sort of like the obvious choice really for it, but some of the results that you get from it will be interesting.
Yeah. Going back to your destination work, where about do you cover?
Where do I cover in terms of
Yeah.
destination?
Yeah.
Literally anywhere.
Literally
Anywhere you want to
anywhere.
send me.
Okay. Do you have any issues with travel and visas and stuff like that? I think
It
I
helps.
asked just because I think a lot of people actually there's always questions about
yeah. Travel at your own peril. That's what I literally say.
oh my
But
god.
at the same time, I am happy to be a Portuguese national. So when it comes to Europe, I'm very fortunate to have a Portuguese passport, really.
Yeah.
Which means that I can get in and out quite easily, really. Yeah. Destination weddings can be quite hard when it comes to sort of like visas and stuff. And I find that the ones where I've actually needed visa was really helped is that number one, there were sort of like quite big weddings, and two, having planners that know their stuff and know how to sort of like get the ball rolling on that really has been invaluable for me really, because otherwise it would have been very different stories. So yeah, at the same time, I get many friends that literally just nah, I'm not taking that simply because I don't want the headache. I've heard horror stories and whatever else, and yeah. So yeah, it's yeah.
For those oh sorry, I thought you had finished my bad.
No, go for it.
For those new to the industry, can you enlighten them on the realities of destination wedding photography? Because I think there's this expectation still, believe it or not, that it's just like glitz and glam and to go into this amazing place and it's beautiful and there's wealthy people and wherever it is, like Como, Rome, France. People have this idea in their head, which I don't think is realistic. And then they go, and if they're going for the first time, they're maybe undercharging. So yeah, break them, Igor. Break them.
Don't get me wrong, destination weddings, they're incredible. But at the same time, it just depends on your character. You have to have the sort of character that is willing to take change very quickly. Travel is hard work. Travel is grueling. Travel is tiring. For me particularly, I love it. I get into an airport and creative juices start flowing, especially if I'm listening to a new album. Like creatively, it gets me going. Really, I want to write, get my notes app ideas start flowing. I love that sort of thing. But at the same time, it's not for everybody really, because it can be stressful. I'm very much of the sort of like character of I am quite relaxed and I'll let things pass by in the sense of it needs to be something like incredibly serious in order to get me stressed about it, quite level-headed about it, and even sometimes even when it's stressy, I'm sort of like the person in the room that kind of like, it's okay, we can do this, and quite pragmatic and level-headed about it. So you have to be very much willing to accept change and change quickly, because that's middle name of destination weddings really, and they change like so often really. Preparation for a destination wedding is super crucial in terms of what you pack and how you pack it. It's you really have to think about what you're trying to achieve on the day and how you're going to do it, in terms of, let's say, like never ever I would say check in your gear. because you don't know where it might end up in. It's always with me. Usually I tend to travel quite light unless I really, really have to, or I'm traveling with my family. But travel quite light, so I would have my carry-on case and my sort of shoulder. I have a shoulder bag, which is my photography bag. Literally, that slots in on top of my carry-on case, and I'm off. Really, you could literally, and that's the sort of like bag that would go underneath the seat in the airplane. Really, so yeah, my camera bag is always with me. Really, and so you got to be able to travel light. And you got to be able to have a high output with little sleep because you'll arrive 1 to 2 days beforehand, scout. There might be a dinner or something planned for the day. You'll shoot until whatever time really, and then game time follows up on the wedding day, and you just it's a lot. It is a lot. Just imagine a wedding day, a normal wedding day on steroids, with you being absolutely knackered from the previous travel and from wherever you've come from, really. So I find that we were joking about it in terms of like exercise and mood and everything else. But yeah, my trainers are coming with me on a destination wedding because literally again that will energize me and keep me going. Really, do a 10K in the morning and then I'll be set really for the rest of the day, really, because I know that sort of like foundation in terms of like mental health, in terms of my body, in terms of my right mindset is there, really. So yeah, what else in terms of destination weddings? You never know what you might get with the weather. Yes, it is a destination wedding and people are sort of like booking it because of the weather, because of the location, whatever it might be, but you might have to be able to adapt and get that sort of like beautiful UK weather with grey skies and rain that we sometimes get in wherever, Tuscany, wherever it might be, really. And you gotta be able to easily adapt, really, and set those expectations and really work with your couple in order to get the best out of the what is given to you, really. So yeah, it's a normal wedding day, literally on steroids in terms of expectations, because people have traveled far and wide really for it, and everything else is heightened, and it's not just it doesn't just become about the wedding itself. It becomes about an experience, especially multi-day weddings, where you might have activities going through the day. Marrakesh, for example, going for a camel ride the day beforehand, go into the desert, have a dinner, all these sort of different things, really. I've, and that's what I love about destination weddings, and going back to the whole capturing weddings as a lifestyle thing. You very much are able to capture not just it doesn't feel like I'm capturing a wedding. It feels like I'm capturing day-to-day life with a certain artistic level or artistic aesthetic that is slightly higher, and at the same time I'm able to input my voice into it, really, in a beautiful way, really. So yeah. But that's not to say that you can't do that with a local wedding. You 100% can. It's just I find it's just your mindset, really, that needs to shift really towards it, because it's with the local weddings, I find that it's the things that we have constantly seen that very much are ignored. Let's say if it's a church wedding, those columns that are looking at the sculptures and everything else. How many times have we seen that, really? But if you were, for example, I don't know, a Spanish photographer that lives in the rural mountains and literally come to the UK and see that for the first time, you're like, wow, this is beautiful, really. And it's having that sort of like eye of seeing things for the first time that's super, super crucial. And having that mindset of literally trying to capture things like that. And I find that when you capture weddings like that, you do such a better job than ignoring and sort of like going through the motions of, oh, here we go, here's another wedding at my local town. And yeah,
I agree. That mindset, I think people who do shoot locally, I think they should try their best to have that frame of mind as well. I know
yeah.
the trick is it's not as easy. It doesn't come naturally. It's more of an active mindset
Exactly.
shift rather than
it is hard work, and kudos for the people that do it, because it is hard work, because it's so very easy to get stuck in your own ways. It's not just local weddings, it's just it's also visiting venues that can be far away from wherever you might live locally. It could be 2, 3, 4 hours away, but it might be a venue that you absolutely love, but you've been there 10 times that year for whatever reason. And how do you see things differently within that? But at the same time, the couple has booked you for the work that you already created and for the work that they've seen so many times. So how do you keep faithful to that, but at the same time fresh within yourself in order to keep going and being content with your own work in order to create more work that very much allows you to be proud of that work and keep it going strongly.
I agree. That was one of the hardest mindset shifts I had to do early in my career. Was like the weight of the expectations forced me to not change, and it was the worst place you can be as a creative, and just a person. You feel shit when you're having to go to a wedding and you're like, I want to try new things, but I'm fear. Like I'm scared. It's a fear-based decision.
Yeah.
And I think it was you. I mean, was it you, Greg? I think I had maybe put so much on that client expectation. I'm pretty sure it was you, Greg, who said, I don't think the clients are really going to care if you try something new.
Yeah.
Like, so try something new. Like, just Anyway, this might be a good time for show and tell. What do you think, Greg? Should we have a look at some of Igor's images?
Do it. Let me find the window.
Oh man, I'm scared.
Let's do it. You should be. Your work's terrible.
Okay. Let's go. I'm gonna tell my mum.
You're gonna tell your mum on me? Oh
no! You've not met Fatima Demba.
So show and tell, because we didn't do show and tell when you were last on the podcast. This is where I picked some of your images from your portfolio, and I'll quickly mention why I like them. And I want to hear your point of view on the image. If you can remember any backstory, just give me all the information from the stories, from the images. So this first image, I actually really appreciated, because you're using the couple with all their table decor and stuff in mind for a photo shoot. Now, this may be a style shoot, I'm not entirely sure. But I do think that wedding gallery, like I just love the fact that you have incorporated people with these details, because people spend a lot of time on table details usually. Obviously, if there's a planner, it's maybe a little bit different. But I do like the fact that you've done that. And then there's like that depth of smoke, and I'm not sure if it's a haze machine or whatever, or someone vaping in the background. It just kind of, it's an oddity, because it's not like in cinema where you haze up a room to add the depth. It's like a shape of a cloud. And so it's quite heavy-handed, but I like the fact that it is heavy-handed in this church. Maybe you're thinking there's this idea of, heaven or something, and you've got that cloud there. I don't know. I'm looking too deep into it thematically, but that's what I like to do. So tell me about this image.
It was during COVID. It was when the restrictions started to be lifted up.
Okay.
And I was itching to create, absolutely itching to create. So with some of the best people that I knew. We created the style shoots and went to London at the Asylum, this beautiful derelict church, and hired it out, and invested quite a bit of money into it, and just the team in itself, they were just incredible. Like they really, really knew what they were doing, and that's the reason why I chose them, really. So just to have a team that, number one, super passionate about weddings, but at the same time are artists in their own right, was incredible, really. So yeah, we just got it all together. And beforehand, I'd created heaps of mood boards and sort of like had a general idea of what I wanted, but it wasn't really clear. It was very much of, so Igor, I would be getting loads of questions. So what about this? What about that? We'll see when we get there. That would be sort of like the most response, really, because I needed to see the space, really needed to see what light was doing, and make choices there and then, really, and very much felt like an art director. And that's what I loved about it. So yeah, and on the side you would have one of the guys from Higher Love literally spraying aerosol.
Okay. Yeah.
As you were saying, and yes, Emma, an incredible florist. She created the sort of like floral cloud that you can see on top.
Yeah.
And then we have Liv and her husband, and the guys from Higher Love as well, that literally had the table and tablescapes and everything else there. We just kind of like just styled everything together, really, and like, what about this, what about that, and until we kind of like felt like, that works. And the whole day was very much like that. This was just one scene out of probably 5. And it was just, I absolutely love this day because I was able really to create for the sake of creating. And the amount of content that I got from it was incredible. Created so many videos as well. And I find that one of the reasons why I was able to kind of like sell myself to other brands like Canon afterwards was because of this shoot and some of the content that I was able to get with Tom Wright, who's an incredible videographer, really, just incredible artist in his own right. Tom, love you, man. And but in terms of creativity, really, it just clicked, really, because I'd chosen the right people, right mindset, and I knew that we would be able to work together well. And everyone was just giddy, really, to create. Funny story: whilst we were setting everything up, at one point, that cloud started catching on fire, so we literally quickly had to.
What? God. Okay.
Health and safety. We quickly had to put that out, and we had our fire extinguishers and stuff on the side. But that was my heart leapt.
So when you were pulling the team together for this, was it all suppliers that you knew and had a relationship with, or did you use it to build connections with people who you wanted?
Pretty much most of them. Pretty much most of them I had worked with beforehand, and I knew that they would be incredible for the shoot, really. And eventually we were able to get it featured on Junebug, get heaps of work from it. It really changed stuff for us, really, as a collective. So it was super proud of the shoot.
And you mentioned there was 5 scenes all together. Is that correct?
Yeah, around that.
What were the other ones? And did they use the same venue, or?
Yeah, all within the same venue. This one was a bit more static. Other ones, a lot of the idea for it was to bring movement into it. Say, Liv would be dancing on some of the scenes, and just to create movement really. Some of the shots were a little bit out there. You kind of like, I'm not sure that would work more for a wedding. It's more for a fashion shoot than anything else, really. But
Interesting.
it worked. It just worked, really. So yeah, again, this is one of those that I literally you just need to put story together and just kind of like just show everything in its entirety rather than just a few shots here and there on my website or Instagram, really, because it yeah, it doesn't do it justice really for what it is.
All right, nice. Next image, Greg. Ah, yes.
Good old
Man.
Eureka Valley.
Is this an older image of yours?
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
20.
Oh my goodness, I'm picking the oldies. It seems to be a theme nowadays. I'm just picking old images. I don't know why. But man, I really love this aspect. You know, I tend to find that, especially from a filmmaker's point of view, if you were to see a maze like that or a kind of shape, you'd instantly get your drone out and shoot it top down. And
Yeah.
even photographers who have a drone maybe would do that same thing.
Yeah.
And I have done that same thing. But the fact that you haven't like focused on the maze itself, it's part of the scene, but it's kind of like all the like the thing I like about it isn't the maze. It's everything around it. It's like the shape
Exactly.
and the lighting of the bushes around, and it just creates this lovely little focal point with the couple
Yeah.
right in the middle. And obviously you've got the hills in the background, which are absolutely stunning, and the lighting is particularly beautiful as well. The colors, the palette, very, very nice image. Tell me about this shot.
Yeah, super proud of this one. It was the first time at the Eureka Valley in probably an hour and a half from Marrakesh. And yeah, what you can see there in the background is the Atlas Mountains, and I really was desperate to sort of like incorporate them into the wedding somehow, because you kind of have to when it's the Atlas Mountains, really. So yeah, and e- everyone has flown up from literally all over the world and US, and yeah, what I was literally focusing was the central point of this sort of like maze, really. Um, I really wanted to give that a good show off, and this is the beauty of the tilt shift, really, that because that was shot with the tilt shift. It just literally allows everything else to sort of like allows the focus really to be in the middle, but you can still see so the foreground here where it's quite dark with the bushes, it's it's quite blurred, but it still feels quite magical. It's not sort of like I don't know how to say it really, but it's there but it's not there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a really subtle blur, which is, I think, I like that, because someone with a tilt shift might actually just go ham with it. And I mean, I'm sure that kind of image would still be lovely, but the fact that you've not gone aggressive with the tilt shift makes me like and appreciate this more.
Yeah, that's it. Especially when you can see the mountains in all their glory, really. So yeah, it's it was an incredible wedding, and again, it was one of those weddings where you kind of like realize, wow, this is my job, sort of thing. I get to literally create in an incredible space, really, and you just learn and adapt with it, and it's one of those times that I was super grateful. But at the same time, because it was literally surrounded by olive trees, I had a couple of like asthma attacks, and I never had like an asthma attack.
Shit!
Wow.
Oh no!
So one of the florists had an inhaler. I'm like, I'm struggling to breathe here. Has anyone got an inhaler or something like that? And like, yeah. I'm like, I'll take anything at the moment, and
Wow.
and that worked the treat. But yeah, again, you just got to be able to adapt to anything. It's destination weddings. Now I let you travel with an inhaler every single time because you just, you never know. You never know.
That is a great prepping item to have on your bag. That, or I mean, is an EpiPen too much, do you think? Like, I know, I mean, EpiPen is obviously used for people who like have severe allergic
I suffer
reactions.
from allergies, so I always take Piriton, whatever it might be, allergy tablets with me, really. But yeah.
I don't know, reminds me of a time we were in Italy and Greg took an allergic reaction to something, or was it? Did you get bitten by a bug or something? And his face swelled up.
I think we had bed bugs in our accommodation or something.
Oh my god, that was.
I looked like Rocky Balboa.
Oh,
Adrian.
Oh my god! Honestly, it was absolutely hilarious. Sorry, Greg, I shouldn't laugh. But next
fine.
image. Image.
First of all, like, what about the square crop here? Was that purely for Instagram, or is it because the image only worked in that crop?
Purely for Insta.
Purely, yeah.
But it just works. It really, really works. And I was gonna, in some ways, part of me kind of like forgotten. Did I crop that, or did you crop that? But yeah, purely it would have been purely for Instagram because
I think Simon took it from Instagram, but yeah.
But just the way it looks here, I'm like, I should present it more like that because it just it works. It works really, really well rather than as a landscape.
Yeah.
Do you mix crops within your gallery, or do you stick to?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. I was gonna say, because this aspect is quite popular at the moment for filmmakers, especially. And I don't know if that's because it's Wes Anderson, but his name's always thrown around quite a lot. But I don't know, a lot of newer filmmakers are coming up, and they're using this aspect ratio.
Yeah, especially on YouTube, I see it a lot.
Yeah. You do, yeah. In fact, Gok, I think, has used this aspect ratio.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah.
So. And it's funny. I have been tempted to go something like that, whereas filmmakers tend to go widescreen a lot. It's so funny looking at.
I've seen it at some points for certain wedding work as well, where it's only a few clips, but again, it just kind of like breaks up the momentum of what it might be, and I think it would very much work as well, especially if it was something like shot on iPhone, or something a bit more lo-fi-ish with a lower res, where you literally just pop on a square. And I think the way we have been trained with social media, our eyes have been trained with social media, that wouldn't be a surprise and would be very much like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that angers me though. That idea of social media influencing our work. Because really, when I think about that aspect ratio, I think back to like high tape and stuff. But yeah, I know. I'm just an old, boring, angry guy now. Get off my lawn, you newbie kids. Anyway, so this next image, oh god damn, so lovely, on so many levels. It's not your. Like, you very rarely see a shot like this taken from the side. Again, from a filmmaker's point of view, you get the drone up and you shoot it from the front, and it would be like, la-da-da, very safe shot, very boring. But this, I love the straight lines, the straight line placed right down the middle, which I know a lot of photography, it like puts people in the middle of things, but usually when you're thinking of like the rule of thirds, you're thinking of those other horizon lines, but I like the fact
you would
that
have
you've
them slightly more to the side, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would. But I like it because you haven't done this. You've broken that rule, and then you've got that straight line down from the tower or the edge of the building, couple in the middle, side on, and then the other like the forest line is another line that just comes in and it's dark at the bottom and light, just tonally. very nice to look at image. But tell me about this. Why did you take it? What did you take it with? Yeah.
Yeah. Just following. I'll go back to that, but I was just following the sort of like lines aspect of what you were saying. At one point, I thought in throwing up this image and sort of like get, on Lightroom and just in art in general, where you can get, I don't know what you call the different crops when you sort of like look at an image where you can see the leading point and everything else, and you just get different crops that shows where the lines are and everything else. And I thought in just literally throwing one on top of it just to kind of like explain, and this is how you do it, guys. But no, it would be disingenuous of me, really. But no, it was a lot of experimentation on the day when I took this, but literally like 2-3 minutes. But I took heaps of shots of this. And just try different angles, really. And here I'm kind of like, I'm against the wall, and I'm against the wall of the castle, and literally having to pit to the side to kind of like get that angle. And there's a massive drop on the side, just to kind of like get it, really, because I knew I could get a different angle of it, but it was just hard to do it. But eventually I got it, really. But this was in Italy, and just outside of Rome. And yeah, I absolutely love this day. Again, it was one of those incredible days where we literally had all types of weather. Did a first look where it absolutely poured it down, and yeah, they're from the US, from Dallas. Whole family has come to Italy, and it's literally, yeah, it was raining so much, but they were so adamant of having the most incredible day that really much set the tone for it, really. But it was literally just for the first look. Then, like in typical Italian style, sun came out, ceremony was outside, and yeah, this was towards the evening, really, where we had already done heaps of shots, and it was getting ready, close to dinner time, and literally the balcony that they're at, it's the balcony of the dinner room, really. I just asked them. We were taking shots of the dinner room, them inside, and taking shots of them through the doors of the balcony, literally inside. And then I just thought, hey guys, can I just literally pop outside and just grab a shot from you from outside? Because I reckon it'll look amazing. And yeah, it worked really, really well. And just to kind of like, and it was really, really far away as well. I'm not entirely sure what lens I'm using here, whether it's the 85 or 135, but it was far away. And yeah, what we did, we literally communicate through our phones. So literally, they would have me on loudspeaker and do this, do that, a bit more to the edge, but don't fall.
That is so funny.
And yeah, it worked really, really well. And I love this image. It's one of those that it feels like an Igor image. If I had to change it today, probably changed more the clarity, just ease down on it, because and that diagonal line that you can see between the sky and the trees, you start seeing that effect that sometimes clarity does, where the darks start sort of like having a massive highlight on top of the between the dark and the do you see what I mean? So yeah, just tone it down a little bit there, but it just feels like you are immersed with the image, because you get a little bit of the foreground. Again, that those are the bushes within that wall that still work, so you feel immersed within the image, and the lines just work. They really, really work. But again, I tried heaps of different ways to kind of like capture it really, really quickly, and yeah, this really paid off. So yeah, again, just experiment.
Yeah, love it. Next image, Greg. Oh, right. So I'd forgotten I'd done this many. So this is a Polaroid, right? But what's happened to it? Have you done some sort of craft on it, or has it been
this is the
damaged? Or
beauty. Is the beauty of Polaroids, really, especially if you're using. I'm trying to think whether this is a 600 Polaroid or SX70. I want to say 600, but I think it's an SX70, really. But yeah, this is the beauty and difference of shooting Instax film or Polaroids, really. Because with Polaroids, you get all these sort of like intricacies and deficiencies that you just wouldn't get with Instax film. Instax is kind of like, I find it's kind of like the plastic of instant film, really. Whereas Polaroids, you get all these sort of like intricacies that are absolutely beautiful, really. And yeah, Happy Accident really is just, yeah, just happened to have that sort of like ray on the groom's shoulder that just literally crops up, and it's absolutely beautiful. It works. It's one of those creative accidents that work really well. But
Yeah.
also, what I did was rip the film off the border sides film of the Polaroids, because usually it would be all white. So literally just rip that across, so you get that border that just makes it look a lot more interesting, really, and more beautiful than the usual Polaroids that you see with the white border that we're so used to seeing, really. Yeah.
Yep. So you did do craft. You did do some craft. I'm intrigued. The shape that happens on the side there. Are you want to take a Polaroid and then like whip it back and forward to help it
No,
process?
you should never do what outcasts say and shake it
Yes.
like a Polaroid picture.
Never do that. I see so many people doing that. I'm like, don't do that. It's
Don't
because
shake it
sometimes
like a Polaroid picture.
yeah, you get things like this where the chemicals don't quite set right.
Yes. So yeah. Sometimes that happens, but I find out that this happens more when there might be something like certain gunk or some sort of like deficiency within the roller itself. But
Oh, okay.
I'm happy for that to happen. Like
Yeah.
some of my best Polaroids have had stuff like that, and those are the sort of like things, because the couples can see it there and then. Those are the sort of things that they get really excited about. I'm like, oh, look at this, and it's the art of it, really, the art of film, really, that really creeps into the day in a beautiful way, really. So yeah. But what you should do is, as soon as you take a Polaroid shot, just shield it from light, let it expose within your pocket, because temperature also um, changes the way the final image is going to look. So this was in Iceland, and I constantly, it was freezing cold. These guys were like absolutely troopers to be literally wearing what they were wearing. So yeah, I would constantly put my Polaroids inside my jacket, and yeah, it worked really well. So yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with what you said about the Instax and Polaroid, because I've got a couple of modern Instax camera and Polaroid camera. And the Instax, it's the minis. It's quite consistent and reliable, whereas the Polaroids, so many artifacts like this would happen, but some of them are happy accidents like this. Like if that line had been slightly over, they'd been like, it didn't work. But yeah, you got lucky here.
Yeah, it worked really, really well. And I find out that the older the camera, the better, really, because the newer ones, they actually sort of like have done with those sort of like artifacts, really. It's harder to get with that those sort of like happy accidents, really. So if you're able to sort of like get something like an SX70, which is one of the Polaroids where you are able to get the most manual elements of it in terms of the exposure and light and everything else and focus, they're beautiful. But if you can get that, or 600, you'll be dancing away, really.
Yeah. Nice. Next image, Greg. I'm pretty sure this is the last image coming up. Oh, who is that sexy guy?
That is funny.
I love this image, man. I love this image. You're looking good.
That is funny. That's funny.
How much do you post of yourself online?
Not enough.
No. And who took this image? Because I'd like to see more of this type of image. Woofed.
Yeah, so this was the day before the wedding, and me and my good friend Marcus Sanchez were venturing around Marrakesh and just adventuring around, just grabbing loads of stuff, really, just climatizing, really climatizing for the wedding that we had. In fact, I think we shot in that evening, but yeah, we're just shooting around the streets and initially getting lost on purpose and finding pockets of light and just enjoying it. And he snapped this ace picture of me and a few more, and likewise me of him, and it worked really, really well. And those were the days where fedoras were still all the rage, and I would have to have at least two coming with me for destination wedding. Not these days, to be fair.
A whole separate bag just for fedoras.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep. Although I'm wearing mine today, so
yes, you are.
I was never a fedora guy when it was trendy, but now that the trend's over, I'm like, I might try it.
Yeah, let's bring it out. Yeah.
Oh
Good
my
man.
God, amazing. All right, Igor, do you have any book recommendations for any of our listeners who are maybe into reading?
No,
I'm more listening to audiobooks.
I'm more of an audiobook guy. But
Audiobook counts.
To be fair, audiobooks, I'm not really into audiobooks at the moment, to be fair. And if I'm listening to stuff, it's usually tend to be more Christian books rather than sort of like creative books. But if I go for creative books, I'm just quickly having a look at my Audible list.
Did you say Christian books?
Yeah, Christian books.
Okay.
Yeah, we are avid Christians. Go to church pretty much every Sunday.
Okay.
And believe and love Jesus. And I guess it's one of the things I don't really talk too much about. I've started a bit more in certain workshops and talks. Yeah, pretty much on most talks I start with it in a jokey way or so. But I find that it's one of the things that faith and politics
Faith and politics
is there are a couple of things that I kind of like try to stay clear of within my branding, really. But at the same time, I've learned over the years that the amount of opportunities and conversations that you can have when you bring those two up, especially particularly faith, not so much politics, can be very, very beneficial and transformational, really. So books.
Cool.
Let me have
Did you ever? So I love talking religion stuff. I mean, I'm not hugely educated too much in like the depths of scriptures.
Yeah.
But I used to study it for GCSEs. But I got quite interested in it, and then after, I would listen to other YouTube channels. I like Cosmic Skeptic, for example.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Do you know? Greg will know this, but do you know Rhett and Link on YouTube?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Rhett McLaughlin has just started a YouTube channel, I believe, where he talks about faith and that kind of thing. And I'm definitely going to be subscribing because it was pretty interesting. But yeah, what brings you to faith?
What brings me to faith?
Yeah.
I don't know if I understand the question, but elaborate just a little bit more.
What about Christianity draws you into believing in that?
Yeah, I find that, first of all, I grew up in a Christian family, really. So I've seen the example of my parents, really, of what a Christian life looks like and the benefits of it, really. But it was only until I sort of like grew up and kind of like learned it for myself, really, that it kind of like it came to life for me. And you can have all the sort of like influences that you want in the world, really, and read all the books and listen to all the podcasts and whatever it might be, really. But until you sort of like experience faith, and in this case for me, Jesus for yourself, really, that's when it really, really comes to life. And yeah, it's everything. It literally is everything for me. And the way I apply myself towards work, the way my perspective in life, literally it is everything. It kind of like, it is the foundation and rock bed of literally how we do things in our house, really. So yeah, it is incredible, really. And I find that my business and my life would look very, very different if it wasn't for my Christian faith, if it wasn't for Jesus, really.
Interesting.
Man, it would look so different. How it would be very much for the worse, 100%. But yeah, it would look very, very different. And I find that I think as well, a lot with that comes understanding that life is very fragile, and empathy is one of the things that very much drives part of the business. What I'm trying to say is that I see things very differently because of my faith.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, really. So yeah.
Cool, man. So sorry about the random question. That is
No,
not
it was good, and
I'm
really, really happy for it. So no, thank you for pressing it harder. So yeah,
I'm just intrigued. I like hearing what people believe, and why? It's great.
Yeah. If anyone at any point wants to chat to me about faith, hit me up. Literally hit me up, and yeah, we can go into it.
Cool.
Yeah. And yeah, that goes for you, Simon.
I will do. I will say I'm a humanist. I don't believe in anything spiritual or anything like that. But I do love the conversations around it. I love the history.
Yeah, definitely.
I find it really interesting. So sorry, listeners, if that's not of interest to you, but my goddamn podcast. So. Oh, sorry. Goddamn, that was a bad choice of words there. Sorry. Okay. Igor. Did we finish your book recommendations? You were looking up a list.
Did you find one?
Yeah, I was looking up a list. Kind of like looking at the ones I tend to sort of like go back to it every year. Atomic Habits, James Clear.
Atomic Habits,
classic. Yeah,
it's a classic. Really, it's really good. I haven't read it, and I really, really want to read it and listen to it. And I kind of like feel a bit like an imposter, because as an educator and as a creative, it's kind of like one of those books that you kind of like are supposed to know and are supposed to read. So it'll definitely be, it's on my list. And I don't know exactly what it's called, but you guys will know it. It's a great book by is a music producer.
Yeah,
Rick Rubin,
with a circle and a tiny circle.
The creative, is it Creative Act? Rick Rubin? It's Rick Rubin, isn't it? Yeah.
Rick Rubin. Yeah. Rick Rubin. Yes. Thank you. See?
A lot of people have been mentioning that recently. Yeah.
Yeah. I really want to read it, really want to listen to it. And I find that it's one of those books that I need to have it physically as well. It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The Creative Act by Rick Rubin, definitely. It's on my list.
Cool.
Very nice. Yeah. But you're right. Yeah. That is that was brought up by someone else recently.
A few people.
Was it Nina?
I think, yeah.
Nina and Derek, I think, was our last conversation who brought them up.
Yeah, they did. Yep.
Although that podcast won't be out yet, I don't think. But yeah, quite.
You guys are smashing it. You got like a backlog of.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Busy start to the year with podcasts.
We do. Yeah. It's an interesting one because it's that time of year where people are like at the end of the year. I try my best to get on more guests, but they're all so busy and focusing on that or their family, and so they're always like, "Oh, can we make it later in the year or next year?" And I'm like,
"Come back to me in January."
No problem. And yeah, so quite often there's a little bit of a delay just because this is a podcast where we get guests on, and sometimes those guests aren't available. So there's normally a bit of a gap. But then when we get back into it, it's like, well, we're not
Yeah,
shooting
that's
any
it.
weddings just now, so let's just
Yeah, that's it. So
go
everybody's
crazy.
availability is a bit different now, and
Yes, yeah,
it's
exactly,
perfect for it.
But yeah, great. Well, Igor, thank you very much for joining us again
No, thank you
on
guys.
another episode of this podcast. Where can people find you online?
People can find me on Instagram and anywhere really at Igor Demba, IGOR DMBA, and hit me up, and I'll be glad to share whatever or answer whatever you guys want answered. So yeah.
Very, very cool. People can find us at perspectivebycinemate.com. Our Instagram is at perspectivebycinemate. And I hope you're ready for Weird. It's a 3-day creative retreat built for photographers, artists, and makers who want headspace and room to breathe. It's on the 23rd to the 26th of March 2020. Arc Peaks in the heart of the Peak District. I was just thinking to myself, I probably don't even need to say the 2026 now. Anyway, if you have liked this conversation, do hit subscribe on our YouTube at youtube.com/at perspective by Cinemate, or wherever you get your podcasts. And we'll hope to see you in the next episode. Oh, also leave a review where you can and tell a buddy, because
Come on, people.
podcasts are hard enough. And you want to keep this podcast going,
Leave all the sweet words.
That's right. Or the horrible words. I'll take horrible words at
all
this
the
point.
sweet ones.
Just,
As long as they're constructive.
five stars, but go brutal in the comments. All right. However,
In the meantime,
stay weird and enjoy your life.